What up, everyone? Welcome back to Financial Education and Business. Today, we're going to talk about the blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and how it's going to be coming into the traditional TradFi markets. And I'm going to cover some of the top cryptocurrencies that are pushing this whole TradFi immigration or migration. And the company that's kind of driving this, and there's a whole bunch of other companies, but one of the main ones that is well known is Robinhood. So Robinhood just recently sent this 46 plus page, nine page letter to the SEC to kind of get some kind of regulation around, write up some kind of regulation around this real world assets. So real world assets, think of it as this: there's a stock that's trading in New York Stock Exchange, New York Nasdaq, and imagine that those stocks being wrapped in a cryptocurrency, whether that's in Ethereum, Solana, or XRP, or any of these cryptocurrencies. And then what that allows is individuals to now to be able to go and trade those stocks in the blockchain 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, which would be amazing, right? So that is the goal with real world assets. Obviously, there's a lot of companies already in the crypto industry that are kind of doing this right now, but it's not regulated. So a lot of U.S. Investors can't really do this, but it seems to be working for a lot of crypto companies outside of the United States. So Robinhood wrote out this letter to Chairman Atkins Commission, SEC Crypto Task Force. He says that I'm writing this on behalf of Robinhood and Robinhood Crypto to describe a key benefit of tokenizing the security and other real-world non-native digital assets, commonly known as RWA, to explain some of the challenges to realizing those benefits under the current legal and regulatory environment. So key points: tokenization of RWA will transform market structure and provide numerous benefits to market participants, as well as reduce risk in financial systems. A new regulatory approach is needed to allow token to flourish, and that system should be designed at a federal level to provide consistency to the marketplace. An immediate starting point would be permit broker-dealer to more freely custody and trade tokenized RWAs and other type of digital assets. So as you can see, they just want some kind of framework so they can start offering this real world assets. What this means is, if this passes, if it gets a response back, Robinhood then will be able to wrap and sell a lot of cryptocurrencies on their exchange. So I just asked Grok companies that tokenize equities and stocks, and it just gave me some, right? So there are companies like Kraken. Kraken offers major cryptocurrencies, been around for a long time, launched X stocks to tokenize US equities, offering blockchain native versions of stocks for instant borderless trading. Robinhood is just as we've spoken. I've applied for this. They don't do this in the United States, but recently they have been approved in another country for crypto trading. INX, Unisoft, Digital Assets AG. So the list goes on. There's a lot of companies that kind of are in the works or are already providing these types of services. As you can see, so remember there was a tweet that President Trump kind of said, in January, where he was like, and obviously Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other companies are going to be part of this crypto reserve, right? So there's this whole push for some kind of crypto reserve in the United States, and the president wants to make this get a strategic advantage for the United States. So practically, President Trump created this working group with really very aggressive leaders who are going to start to try to find a way to pass some kind of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency reserves, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, probably. And as obviously, his sons are playing a major role in this crypto reserve, in these crypto reserve projects. But during those tweets, Trump, he kind of referenced Bitcoin, Solana, XRP, and Cardano as some of the main ones that he's kind of discussed doing a reserve for. In addition to the cryptocurrencies already included in the U.S. Strategic Reserve, various industry experts and companies have proposed to include these. Right, you got USD coin, and this is a stable coin pegged to the US dollar, Chainlink, Polkadot, Avalanche, and so the list goes on. And I'm sure a lot of these companies are keeping a close eye on how they can be involved in this crypto reserve. And then a lot of equity companies, meaning think of companies that are right now trading in the NYC stock exchange. They're actually becoming their own crypto reserve as well, and I'll go over those in just a second. As of late, the latest report, the US government holds approximately 18.6 billion in digital assets spread across multiple blockchains. US government, as you can see, they have Bitcoin, Ethereum, wrapped Bitcoin, BNB, AUSDC, WBNB, wrapped BNB coins, WETH, wrapped ETH. And so, as you can see, they're very bullish on a lot of these, on Bitcoin being the main one, Ethereum, Tether is one-to-one pegged to the US, and they actually have a reserve in US dollar in bonds. And obviously this is really good for the United States if these cryptocurrencies are holding US bonds on backing these assets, tokenized stocks. So Bittrex Global, they've already wrapped multiple publicly traded companies. You got Tesla, Alibaba, Pfizer, Apple, Facebook, Google, Netflix, Bilibili. So as you can see, it's a lot of like US stocks and some Chinese stocks as well have been wrapped in this tokenized manner. And the goal, FTX is also doing all these. You got Apple, MicroStrategies, Coinbase, PayPal, Tesla, Alibaba, Pfizer, Moderna. And as you can see, they have ETF, ARK Innovation ETF. They've wrapped all these in this tokenized manner. And this is one way how the crypto industry is kind of like making its way into the real world, into traditional finance, and changing it. You got DeFi chain. The DeFi chain, as you can see, they have also started tokenizing all these cryptos. As you can see, there are other companies like Undo. Undo is another company that focuses on doing the same thing, doing a decentralized finance, tokenized real world assets with a lot of cryptos. But also there's a lot of risk actually in this industry. Recently, there was a company, OM Crypto. There was one cryptocurrency that was doing this real world tokenization, and what happened is it failed big time because they were backed by real world asset, whatever that real world asset was. If one major company sells whatever tokens that is underlying the asset, will drop significantly. So if I zoom out full time, this is a company that did real world assets, and it did well. It went all the way up to what, $7 price, and then it just dumped significantly because they couldn't get it done. And there was just that liquidation event that happened, and they just went to almost $0 within less than a day. I mean, this is where the big part of this tokenization issue could be, where there's a lot of volatility and there isn't really there isn't really a framework that's kind of guiding us. And until they find out something, I think a lot of the companies could go from, hero to zero very, very quickly. This market cap used to be in the billions. Let's see, 8 billion was the highest, and now it's at $298 million market cap. So as you can see, that it's a very, very risky environment right now. But over in the long term, as this becomes a standard industry practice, I think there's going to be some kind of regulation and ruling that's going to be put in place to where a lot of that volatility could be removed. As you can see, this is crypto.com. This crypto.com is actually in the United States. You can use them in the United States, the cryptocurrency exchange, and they also cover this topic of cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin reserve, and digital assets. And and they kind of highlight what is Bitcoin. Practically Bitcoin is considered the digital gold, and it's the main one that everybody kind of holds. Like large institutions will buy like Bitcoin and hold it as the main crypto. And then Ethereum comes next. It's been around for a long time, but Ethereum has been kind of dubbed. It's been around for a long time. However, it is not very fast, and it's really expensive to do transaction on. And so companies have been trying to develop like a better version of Ethereum to where real world assets can be wrapped in, right? You can wrap real world assets in Bitcoin, in Ethereum, and a whole bunch of different cryptos. But if it's really expensive to do transactions, right? Transactions with the underlying blockchain, it might not be worth wrapping a crypto in that specific DApp or decentralized application. So a lot of users nowadays are using Solana. Solana is definitely one of the leading high-speed blockchains, and it's actually very, very very easy for developers to actually develop on there. And a lot of these real-world assets, I can see them being developed on something like Solana. There's others that people are using, XRP, the cross-border settlement solution, and XRP has been around. It's famous. It's very popular in crypto industry. It's been around for a long time. There was a moment where the market cap of this XRP was way above Bitcoin for just a moment. Cardano is it's a research-driven blockchain that prioritizes security, scalability, and sustainability at the heart of the network. So I think Solana does have great potential. I mean, the company is put together in a very like a research-based governance, and it has teams all around the world. And unlike the other blockchains, I think I would say this has one of the most stable networks. It's gone down obviously like everything else, where for a couple hours the whole system was shut down or something like that. But overall, Cardano, I think, definitely is one of those very stable cryptocurrencies based on research. There's other honorable mentions like Sui. Sui is, I believe, another cryptocurrency that really gonna drive this industry as well. And in the long term, I think it's got really good potential to become as in blockchain that's used to wrap these digital assets. Sui represents the next generation of blockchains capable of processing massive transaction volume without delay or congestion. And that these two problems, like a lot of times what happens when there's a lot of volume with, like, when you think of Ethereum or maybe Bitcoin, when there's a lot of volume and a lot of trading in the blockchain, it can slow down. And then if it can slow down, and it can become very expensive to do transactions. Right now, Sui and Solana are trying to solve some of that problem, but like obviously these are honorable mentions that have that are not seeing daylight, but I think eventually these will be one of the ones that are going to be very valuable crypto assets that are going to do very well in the world of crypto reserves, or in the world of real world assets, and digitizing the traditional finance. And is a lot of these companies are starting to buy these cryptocurrencies in traditional finance, and what they'll do is they'll buy it and they'll hold it. So think of it, you go into like Coinbase and you can buy Ethereum, you can buy XRP or any of these cryptocurrencies, but there's companies out there that are they're publicly traded, that are going and buying these cryptos off of these exchanges and holding them off, and then going out like offering bonds, taking the cash and buying more crypto. As investors invest in the company, and as the value of the crypto goes up, they'll offer more bonds and they'll go buy more cryptos. So there's this one, MicroStrategies is one example where they do this kind of strategy. ASST is also one example where they do this kind of where they do this kind of business. But this one company here focuses on not a Bitcoin reserve, but they focus on Solana reserve. So they're going out there, they're buying Solana. So as you can see, this is that company that decided to be a Solana crypto reserve. In March, they were trading for 19 cents. This company exploded over 9,000% since then, and obviously it's dropped down, but it's still over 3,000% up. And all they do is buy Ethereum of Solana, and they will just buy more, and they will hold. And this is one way a lot of these assets in traditional finance is kind of going into disrupting the way that business is done in the traditional finance world right now. If you're looking to get into a Solana crypto reserve, this is one. But overall, I think if you are really interested in a company that is getting into this industry, has not only the ability to sell just regular stocks, but it's also just very, very innovative, and it really sees the future in the crypto world. This is the Robinhood is really like just in front of everybody else. There's still a lot of money that Robinhood, a lot of investors, a lot of large institutions that still have not gotten into this company. If they are able to pass the raw crypto digitization, and if the SEC sees that as some kind of framework, they implement some kind of framework, Robinhood is able to provide that type of service, I mean, the stock could really go up a lot. And also they're going to be doing a crypto event and in a couple of months, in a month or so, in Paris, I believe, and that's going to be even another huge news for the company. And I believe during that time, they're going to probably show the world that they're going to start offering raw or real world assets or tokenization in Europe in the international markets, and find more ways to expand crypto offerings in different regions. Robinhood already did a couple things when it comes to like expanding into other areas of the world. Why is investors should know? So Robinhood recently bought a crypto company, crypto acquisition in Canada. Robinhood enters Canada, but so they bought this crypto company that is in Canada, and that's one way. Right now, Canadians they don't have Robinhood, but Robinhood is finding a way to get there. So Robinhood Markets agreed to buy Canadian crypto company WonderFi for about $178 million. This company already has millions of users that already kind of use the exchange. The deal value, WonderFi shares at 41% premium over the previous closing price. WonderFi platform, BitBuy, and CoinSquare blusters Robinhood's international expansion, offering the crypto market. So they practically purchased this crypto companies to expand into Canada, and I believe they're going to start providing this. Service Canada out internationally, and start doing this real world asset. And I think Robinhood is going to see even more individuals that only know about crypto and only invest into crypto to actually come into the industry of equities, and actually start driving the number of users in the Robinhood exchange. If you're not in the crypto world, and if you've not invested any, I think now is a really good time to start, building out that portfolio, looking at ways to get in, whether you do it through cryptocurrencies that going to play a large role in the real world assets like Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, SWI, or if you're going to start playing the crypto reserve, like companies that are buying Bitcoin, like MicroStrategies. Or there are a couple of companies that I do have that are in the playing the Bitcoin reserve strategy. So here's a couple. I mean, this isn't all of them, but you got GRY, you got Griffin, Asset Entities, Kindle, now it's called Nakamoto, Naka with Bitcoin Magazine. You got this company right here, Basil MicroStrategies. This is one of the largest one. As you can see, the market cap is $103 billion, but the other ones are still very, very small market caps, and they still have a long ways to go. So even though they have a long ways to go, I mean, there's still a lot of companies that still are at a very low market cap that have great potentials, and they are doing this Bitcoin strategic reserve. I mean, a good example is even Trump's new Bitcoin company social media company recently decided to also buy a whole bunch of Bitcoin as a reserve. So the whole industry is changing a lot. I know this video covered Bitcoin reserves, covered raw real world assets, the digitization of the traditional finance industry. So it's a lot of different topics, but definitely it is an industry that's going to take over the rest of the world. In the next 5-10 years, we're going to see digital assets, specifically the whole blockchain itself, actually play a big role in this industry. So I just wanted to cover this. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave in the comments. If this is your first time on the channel, please go ahead and subscribe and share it with a friend. If you want me to cover this, kind of continue covering this type of topic, also just let me know. Thank you for joining. Once again, this is Fandu Biz. Have a great day. Peace.